Hey folks, Josh Thomas at Academy Mortgage. How are you doing today? I hope it's a great day for you. Hey, I wanted to cover down payments real quick. Now I've been doing this for 15 years, and in that length of time I've been able to watch a lot of first-time home buyers come in, buy a house, and of course later on either sell the house and move or refinance out of that loan. But I wanted to address this because there's a huge portion of the population that believes that you have to have a humongous down payment, 10%, 20%, and it takes forever to save up that kind of money. Listen, most clients that I've dealt with that have large down payments, they don't get it from saving. They get it from the equity from the sale of their last house. Most people that have that much money saved up, that's where it's coming from. Some people are fantastic savers, and that's where it's coming from. But I would say the majority don't. So I wanted to talk about 100% financing and what it meant. I have a lot of different loan options. I have a lot of different ways to get there. And I'm not going to go into tons of detail, but you can kind of see my background a little bit. There's a couple different options that we use a lot. So when you want to buy a house, there is 100% financing, which we do have some loan options that are like that, where it's literally just a 100% loan. Examples of that would be the VA loan, where it's just literally 100%. If your purchase price is $300,000, your loan amount's $300,000. There's also options like the USDA rural loan, which is common outside of the Wasatch Front, off of the Wasatch Front a little bit, like Tooele County, western Utah County, north and south of the Wasatch Front, and then east of that in like Summit County as well. Anyway, those are popular options. There's also some portfolio 100% financing loans that we have. They function exactly the same way. They're just one big fat loan. We also have other combos of loans where we have first mortgage for a certain amount and then some type of down payment assistance. And so one of the options you're looking at is here on my screen is Utah Housing. That's how they function. They set all the rates and the closing costs for the most part, and so they'll give you a loan depending on which one you qualify for. And this is something I'm super familiar with, and they have you go through a company like mine. So that you don't go to them directly, but these are the programs that they offer that we can give you through them. But this program right here, as an example, is one of my favorites. It's a really great program, very, very low payment. It's pretty awesome there. I don't know if you guys remember me talking about that veterans grant for first-time home buyers that are U.S. veterans, but there's 156 left. Anyway, another option that's out there is Community Development Corporation. They administer some of the down payment assistance in the state of Utah. As you can see right now, there's no funds available, so that's a bummer, but usually there's money in there. And then you just go through here and you can read all the details about that. Let's see, how do I get you? I don't know how to move my screen so that you can see the links, but this is just cdcutah.org, so cdcutah.org, and then this one is just Google search Utah Housing, and you'll find that. In either case, these are just examples of down payment assistance. All of my clients, when we first pre-approve them, we always ask how much they have for down payment, and if they have none, then we'll always talk about the different down payment assistance. And sometimes we use Utah Housing, sometimes we use CDC, sometimes we use 100% loans. It just sort of depends on the situation. But my main point that I want to share with you today is that you don't have to have 20% down. You don't have to have 10% down. You don't even have to have 5% down. I've got a lot of 3% down loans and even less than that if we combine them with some of these other options. And so listen, I just want to make sure that if you can share this, if you can let people know, because there's a lot of people that are keeping themselves out of the housing market thinking they need to save money. Now let me address this a little bit more. Today's housing market's a little bit better than it was last year. It's still super short on inventory, but I feel like sellers are becoming a little bit more friendly to this. A little bit. Where you're actually sometimes still able to get the seller to pay some closing costs. In the last 12 to 24 months, a lot more buyers with 100% financing who normally wouldn't need to bring any money to closing at all, they're still having to bring up to $5,000 to closing. And the reason that is because they still have closing costs, and we have sellers that haven't been really wanting to pay those closing costs. So anyway, I'll tell you all the details later, but I would say if you've got $5,000 or can come up with $5,000 and you do not own a home, or you know somebody who fits that bill, and they make about $18 an hour or more, then please have them give me a call, because they should own a home. And then there's a whole strategy of owning what kind of home and when you can own it and when you should move. A lot of people are saving out for their dream home. I would say don't. I've had a lot of people who came to me, bought, a year to 3 years ago, and we got them a home, 100% financing, and then they're already selling, already moving. Now they've got $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 down on the next house. Now their financing's awesome. Now they make more money, they have more down payment. As a result, they're able to buy a much nicer place that they like a lot more, a lot better for their family and other things. And so, anyway, I feel like that's about all that I wanted to cover. I just wanted to make sure that we abolish that myth that is out there. So many people believe that you have to have a huge down payment. Please, if you're a first-time home buyer, or even if you're not, I've got financing to 100%. Give us a call. This video is probably now non-compliant because by law, if I say 100% financing or reference down payment, then I've got to give you a whole bunch of other criteria. And so let me stay ambiguous in the fact that one of the loan options is the Utah Housing Loan. It's a first and a second combination. The rate on the first is going to be 2% lower than the rate on the second. That's just one example, since I'm talking about several, but to try to be a little bit compliant at least. APRs on this are typically going to be a little bit higher than the normal rates, but we can run all kinds of different payment options for you so that you can know all the details. Sorry, I don't want to be non-compliant. I also don't want to be boring, and some of this stuff probably is a little bit over people's heads. But basically put, we have a lot of financing, high financing options. Give us a call if you got $5,000, or even if you don't have $5,000, but you make at least $18 an hour, and you don't own a home. Give us a call. Let's give it a shot. There's a lot of different options out there. Okay. I think that's probably about all that I want to say about that. Let me go ahead and put up my my information so that we have that to make sure that we're as compliant as possible, even though I mentioned down payments and didn't address exactly how much down. Hopefully my video is making sense there, and if you do want further detail, please just give me a call or text me or message me or whatever, and we'll get it to you. Thanks. Have a fantastic day, guys. Talk to you later.